Welcome to the Smith and Roland Show. Let's join our host, Alan Smith and Jeff Roland.
Welcome one and all to the Smith and Roland podcast, brought to you today by Coffee, Solo Cup. It does say solo.
It does.
Yeah, bigger than life. Yeah. Anyway, Coffee is the sponsor.
Okay.
Just coffee.
Just coffee.
Not a brand.
Well,
coffee.
That way we won't get all these people talking.
That's exactly right. Just coffee.
Tomorrow it's going to be sponsored by water.
Water. Just water. Not a brand.
No,
just water. Water's going to sponsor us tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Coffee's turn today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are you today?
Then the next day is seawater.
Seawater. Ah, okay.
Which is actually being interpreted saltwater.
Saltwater. Saltwater, that's right. Because they saltwater got offended because regular water, fresh water was going to, and so you have to do that.
Got to put a little salt. Yeah. All right, Roland, how we doing today?
Well, I'm okay.
You put me onto this PBS article and this little video, and I am now not a happy man.
Yeah, me neither.
But as you'll notice through this podcast, that Roland tends to get upset.
Well,
I am known. I am known, hashtag.
You don't have to do
I am
this.
known as the peace-loving man of the Smith and Roland Show. That's right.
That's so false.
That's right. Daddy Pete,
hashtag. The reason I stay frustrated is because I have to go along and clean up all your mess all the time.
Just peace-loving man, Daddy Pete. That's me.
Anyway, we've got this deal. You've got two sides of the spiritual dynamic around the Charlie Kirk assassination.
All right, lay it on me.
One side is there is a genuine, I think, spiritual awakening and revival going on. It's undeniable. The governor was at Virginia Tech. The governor of Virginia was at Virginia Tech today at a Turning Point USA rally. He committed $100,000 to new Turning Point chapters. There was over 3,000 kids there on the campus, worshiping God, praying together, the whole deal. It's a serious revival. Okay, the dark side don't like that. So there's been a rise of intensity of spiritual warfare around the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Then on the political side, you've got different responses. And you can just about determine what all the responses are by the labels they wear. PBS being one of them is a very left-leaning, liberal organization that only presents liberal viewpoints as a worldview and narrative. Everybody knows that. It's not. That's
not the originally. It's supposed to do both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, but they never have. PBS has always
because it's been funded by the government, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Public broadcasting.
That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. But they are liberal in all of their world viewpoints on every issue. So there's been supposedly intelligent people that watches PBS, I think, thinking just what you said. They're going to get a balanced viewpoint. It's not there. Mm-hmm. So PBS is giving a political consequence or response. This is old here. The video is old. But what they're talking about, this same topic, is now rising up again after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So it interested me when I found this yesterday, and I'm listening to it, of some of the names that was used that you'll be familiar with, and some of the people that listen to us will be familiar with. Some it'll be an introduction for them to these people. But it's the use of this phrase, Christian nationalism, and that's going to be a political slogan that we'll hear more and more and more and more of on the left to describe conservatives, especially around this Charlie Kirk thing.
Well, Jeff, on this video, if I'm not mistaken, the introduction is white Christian nationalism.
Yeah, that's what
There's another adjective.
Well, the title of the whole article is What is Christian Nationalism? And get this, and why it raises concerns about threats to democracy. Now, where have we heard that slogan, a threat to democracy, from? Only on the Democrat side, levied toward Donald Trump. He's a threat to democracy. That was the whole campaign of Kamala Harris. again, this is an old article.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the video we're going to watch, this guy introduces the idea of Christian nationalism as white Christian nationalism. I would say, again, the Democrat Party is the only ones that don't mind to be racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
against themselves, most of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They are extremely racist in their ideologies. So you've got that. So you got the spiritual side, you got the political side, you've got all of these podcasters' side, which you've got Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson trying to blame Israel for the death of Charlie Kirk, which is a whole different thing that we talked about earlier today. But this thing of Christian nationalism is going to get worse and worse and worse, and we're going to hear this more and more and more in the news media, especially with what's going on with happened with Charlie Kirk. Then you had yesterday another assassin on a rooftop that shot up one of the ICE facilities and killed one, injured a couple, and then committed suicide. This rise of political violence will be framed on the left as Christian nationalism is causing it. On the right, I don't know what is going to happen. Because you know as well as I do, you can slap a dog only too many times until he bites you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't mean, I'm not trying to incite anything. I'm just trying to say that there is only so much both sides can tolerate before there's an explosion of some sort.
Well, that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, exactly.
They were hoping for that at Charlie Kirk's assassination,
yes, they was.
But they didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead they got forgiveness.
Instead they got forgiveness. So they might be surprised what they think they can cite. But the truth is, this is such a Holy Spirit move of God. I think a measure for forgiveness and tolerance and all of that's going to be out there too. We can say not, but I mean, what we're seeing is sovereign move of God. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no. The only thing I know is God's stirring,
mm-hmm.
and because God's stirring, Satan's on the move.
He's stirring.
And these political responses can be gauged by those two things. It's
mm-hmm.
either coming, I believe, from the dark side,
mm-hmm.
or it's coming from the shining of light. And so at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, you had some cabinet officials that proclaimed the gospel, basically preached the gospel. And I heard somebody say this, and I think it's true. You could about tell at the Charlie Kirk Memorial who was speaking if they genuinely had an individual relationship with Christ, or if they was just saying words they'd heard.
Oh yeah,
you could tell. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And so that being said, on the left, when I seen this article, and I've heard the statement about Christian nationalism raised since Charlie Kirk's assassination, I have no doubt but what this is going to be a slogan that is going to pick up steam. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's going to pick up steam now among the Democrat Party, and every conservative by name will be labeled as a Christian nationalist. And so this is directly off the PBS website of what we're going to play. So they're proud of this.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're being objective
mm-hmm.
in this
mm-hmm.
view. And that's, again, one of the points I'd like to make. They think they're being objective. And those that watch this thinks they're being objective. And so if you listen with a subjective opinion and allow this information to stand for what they say, if you judge it, you can't help but say this is blindness and darkness being spewed, I think.
I agree. I was looking for a little news clip, but couldn't find it there, where Charlie Kirk, he was asked at one college campus, this guy said he was Christian, came up and said, "I'm a Christian, but I don't like your Christianity because you're a Christian nationalist." And Charlie's response was, he said, "No, that's not right." He said, "I've never said I'm a Christian nationalist." He said, "I'm a Christian, and yes, I am a nationalist."
Yeah.
But when you put the two together, you're making a different term out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
it takes It takes on a different definition.
Takes on a different definition, and now that's being used as a slang.
Right.
Now he's added another word, white Christian.
That's
nationalist.
Right. There
and,
you go.
And don't you think, Jeff, though, that what they're trying to tie it to is Hitler?
Yeah, that's exactly what
saying
they're doing.
that he was,
That's exactly what they're doing.
That's the guilt by association.
Well, absolutely. Which is why they call Donald Trump Hitler, a fascist. All of these names.
I mean, Donald Trump,
in the world
he is a lot of things, Jeff, but that ain't one of them.
No, that's definitely not one.
I mean, we can talk about some things maybe
things
it's not
that
so
he
cool.
is.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
but Alan, I don't know how that you can use terms like calling him Hitler, calling Donald Trump Hitler, saying he is a threat to democracy. Now listen to that. Yeah, you're calling him a threat to democracy, then acting surprised because somebody takes up a gun to shoot his supporters. Come on. What do they expect is going to happen?
I just...
You get my drift.
Yeah. But let me say this, Jeff. If you call somebody names and that you're comparing them to a bad leader in the past, like Hitler, the person who's making that statement is betting on that you're an ignorant person. Mm-hmm. That's what you're betting on.
Yeah.
I'm not calling them the audience ignorant. I'm just saying what that person that says it's betting on. Well, when they say, well, they're a Christian nationalist. Well, it's the tone of the voice. It's not the definition. Mm-hmm. I mean, the definition is not bad. You can't demonize the definition. If you're a Christian and you believe in your country, that seems like to me that would be something to be admirable. But what I'm saying is, if you're comparing Trump to Hitler, what that speaker is betting on, you're ignorant. And I can say this little crafty word, which is the same gifting as a pedophile grooms children so that he can seduce them.
Yeah.
If you make the statement that Donald Trump is a Hitler, you're trying to groom your audience just like a pedophile does a child. Mm-hmm. You're in the grooming business. You're trying to take advantage of the ignorance. Now, anybody that knows what went on there knows. It's like I said, Donald Trump might be a lot of things, but that's not one of them. Mm-hmm. But if you know just a little bit of history, you know that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That's just totally ridiculous. So what I'm saying is the left's banking on the ignorance of the left because they believe those statements. Oh, yep, Trump, he's Hitler. Yep, I heard it. They said he was Hitler. But if you got just a little bit of sense, you know how ridiculous that statement is. So I'm introducing to you. You tell me what you think. I think it's the same spirit of like a pedophile grooming your audience or grooming who you're getting ready to seduce.
I would agree.
It's what I think that's.
I would agree with you totally from the media's standpoint and from those that are perpetrating that kind of garbage.
That's what I'm addressing. Yes.
I would say that as far as them betting on the ignorance of, I'm assuming those in their own party and those in their own base or whoever's listening.
Just whoever's listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as them betting on their ignorance, I would say that's correct as well. What's troubling is that you have people out there. Okay, me personally, I'm not saying what I've heard. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying I have experienced since the death of Charlie Kirk, an individual coming to me with claims of Christian nationalism having a part to play in this. I've had that to happen. From an individual that I would have considered to have been somewhat intelligent, but apparently they're ignorant because they know nothing about what they're talking about. That's my point.
Well, I don't understand quite.
Yeah.
You're saying that they're saying that Christians, there is such a thing. Phrase it again. I'm not quite with you.
They're saying Christian nationalism, as they were framing it on the right, has played a part in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Really?
The rhetoric of that. Okay. And they are attributing that to Christian nationalism.
Because they think Christian nationalism is a dirty word.
And first I would say They're only parroting what they have heard in the news media.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently the news media betting on the ignorance of those that are listening, they're correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. Because if you make a statement like when a conservative speaks or something, oh, that's Christian nationalism. Well, then you're ignorant. Because there's been absolutely zero examples of that on the right or the left that I have seen. You know, if you could stretch it to say that on the left, there is this underlying current that says, if you disagree with me, you deserve to die, which would be a type of nationalism at its core. But it wouldn't necessarily be Christian nationalism. It would be socialistic or communism. That's what that would be.
Tell me what the difference here is. Tucker Carlson claims he's a libertarian. Tell me the difference in being a libertarian and a nationalist.
Well, very little. Very little difference.
I think it's littler than little.
There is very little difference. The only difference would be Tucker Carlson's libertarianism would say America needs to just stay out of everybody else's affairs, only deal with your own affairs. If anyone then crosses your borders, you deal with it, but only at that time. That would be a libertarian's point of view of foreign policy. But Tucker Carlson would also say that inside of the borders of our country, we have the right to say whatever we need to say, believe whatever we believe. We have the right to do that. In a truly nationalistic sense, that's not allowed. You have to conform your ideas and your speech to whatever those that are in power tells you to think or say.
So now you're talking about an extreme nationalist?
Yes.
Is there such thing as a moderate, a liberal, moderate, and extreme nationalist?
I'm telling you how it's defined today. The real definition of nationalism, if you get down to its root, is patriotism. Just like you said, that's right. The real definition. But we've left that definition, and we have ascribed a new definition to it, which leads to what you were saying, them banking on people being ignorant. They are. They are ignorant. Even seemingly intelligent people are acting ignorantly if you point at something and say, this is Christian nationalism. Well, it doesn't exist in America.
Right. If you take it to the extreme, I guess you could say nationalism based on what you were saying, that you can't say anything against the nation, which would violate freedom of speech. It appears that in nationalism to me is being pro for your nation.
Yeah.
Okay, pro-nation means if you set up a Constitution, Bill of Rights and all that, if that's your nation, then that is included in my nationalism. You see what I'm saying? So,
yes.
So nationalism's not a
dirty word.
Document unto itself or a dirty word.
No, it's not. It's not. But it's been redefined into that, especially by those on the left.
And the redefining, I think, is when you said that's what I was trying to capitalize on, is everything's being trying to be redefined.
Yes, and replaced.
Redefined and replaced.
Take a term and replace it with a new definition.
That's right. I'm not a man, no, I want to be a woman. I don't like Israel. I'm going to replace it with another denomination.
That's right. And if you say you're a Christian, that means you're a nationalist, like in the keeping of Hitler and Nazism.
Well, the only thing
that's what they're doing. Christianity is like Nazism. That's what the left is trying to do. That's why they keep calling Donald Trump a Hitler. I'm not even saying Donald Trump's a Christian. I don't know his heart. But I can tell you this, that when you use the term Christian nationalism and you attribute that to the policies of the conservative movement, what you're saying is you cannot be a Christian without being a nationalist. And nationalism, by their definition, is you're like a Nazi party. Therefore, they're calling Christianity Nazism.
Can I tell you, when I see the word, like we're seated on that video, Christian nationalism, can I tell you what is the first thing that comes to my mind? My nation's the kingdom of God. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's not America. So if you take the word Christian out and say nationalist, then I think, okay, you're talking about the USA. But Christian national, okay, you're talking about the kingdom of God. I'm right there with you. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And I'm saying that from the standpoint you're saying that the terms have been so moon-blinked.
Yes.
At these different definitions.
And everybody's,
if you truly read Christian nationalism, okay, what's the nation of a Christian? Well, it's a kingdom of God.
That's right.
So the Christian nationalism, no, you're talking about America. I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about, no, I'm of the kingdom of God.
That's right.
So in light of what that is saying, I don't associate necessarily Christian with the USA, because you got Christians in Africa, you got it in England, you got it in Australia. So,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying.
And how can you say then, let's say that using how you're defining it there, why would you say that that's a threat to democracy? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's become so confusing to muddle through these political minefield that's been set up by all of these various viewpoints that's attributing new definitions to terms.
Yeah, we're carrying on conversation that the words have been so redefined, I don't know how the world will even carry on a conversation.
No, you can't communicate with each other anymore because you don't know what nothing means.
No.
And again, I say, there's been seemingly intelligent people that I've known personally. I don't know if this has happened to you, but it has to me. Intelligent people that says, well, Christian nationalism played a part in this. No, Christian nationalism did not play a part in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. No more than Candace Stupid Owens getting on there and saying that Israel killed him.
Jeff used the S word.
Well, she's stupid. But, we heard a video called her a whole lot worse than that.
Yeah,
but
we did. Yeah,
I'm just saying
that
these are the responses that's happening on the political side, while on the spiritual side, and it's connected together. You got this mighty move of God taking place where people are getting born again. And then you've got the dark side.
Doesn't like it.
That is trying to get back over here into the political world and make the politics the religion of the country. And so everybody's got a choice to make. Are you going to side with the mighty move of God over here? Or will you come over here to the political world and say, no, I see both sides of the coin? There is no both sides to this coin. There's no both sides. There is not two sides to this. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a lunatic on the left who was indoctrinated.
Left.
Yeah. He was indoctrinated by the transgender ideology that was promoted by such things as PBS that our tax dollars pay for. Or at least did.
I've heard Trump's maybe even doing away with that. Of course, I think at the time you get a judge or two knocks it down, we'll have to see where it ends up.
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing before we play the video. Just because somebody's on PBS does not validate them. Just because somebody's on Fox News doesn't validate them. Just because somebody's on television doesn't validate them. And, I have to admit this. There was a time when I was younger, a lot younger, that someone that had credibility, if they'd written a book, or they had some type of fame to them, or everybody knew their name or something, even regionally, I would be intimidated around them. I'm learning and I'm finding out that everybody does really put their britches on the same way, and we're all made out of the same dirt, and we have the same propensities. And nothing makes one person smarter than the other person. True wisdom comes from the Spirit of God. And if you're plugged into that well, you can just about navigate your way through what's true and what isn't. And so just because somebody's on PBS doesn't mean, they must know what they're talking about. That's why this video caught my eye.
Okay. All right, Avery, if you're ready, I'm going to start this video. And when I'll give you me or Jeff one might say, oh, stop it, Avery. We'll have a comment or two. So here we go.
The phrase white Christian nationalism has been in the headlines
I got a
bit
problem.
recently. What does it really mean?
I'm just kidding.
Laura Barone Lopez recently spoke to one expert to better understand the concept and its reach in American society.
Brad Onishi is a former evangelical minister who once identified as a Christian nationalist himself. He left the church in 2005 and began studying religion from the outside, including extremism. He now hosts the popular podcast Straight White American Jesus and is the author of Preparing for War, The Extremist History of White Christian Nationalism and What Comes Next. I began by asking him what that term actually means.
Christian nationalism is an ideology that is based around the idea that this is a Christian nation, that this was founded as a Christian nation, and therefore it should be a Christian nation today and should be so in the future. According to survey data, Christian nationalists agree with statements like the federal government should declare the United States of America a Christian nation. Our laws should be based on Christian values. Being a Christian is important if you want to be a real American.
Onishi tracks a number of subgroups and ideas under the umbrella of white Christian nationalism, including what's known as the New Apostolic Reformation.
Well, the New Apostolic Reformation is notable for a number of reasons. One, it's built around the idea that Christians are called to a new transformation or reformation of the United States. These are Christians who want to revolutionize the way that our country looks and to make it great again in terms of being a Christian nation. They also are deeply invested in the notion of spiritual warfare, the idea that we are called as Christians to fight a cosmic battle between good and evil, and that it's our duty to be boots on the ground for God in that conflict. What this has led to some decades later is the New Apostolic Reformation leaders, the apostles and the prophets that are really at the head of this movement, were some of the earliest to support Donald Trump in 2016, and they've remained steadfast in that support. They were at the very avant-garde of trying to get the 2020 election overturned in the wake of Joe Biden's victory and mobilizing folks to be at January 6th. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of New Apostolic Reformation Christians at January 6th, as an example.
We know that 2/3 of white evangelicals sympathize or adhere to white Christian nationalist beliefs. So where do they fall within this larger movement?
I think white evangelicals are the group we think of when we think of white Christian nationalism, and for good reason. These are folks who, when we think about the Iowa caucuses, in 2016, Trump's white evangelical voters were about 20% of his share of voters in that cycle. Just a few weeks ago in 2024, that grew to well over 50%. White evangelicals remain committed to the MAGA movement, and one of the key indicators of why is Christian nationalism.
Are there leaders across these subgroups of white Christian nationalism that are tied to the former president?
I think you stop it, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to stop it. Yeah. I'm the one that's controlling. Excuse me, Avery.
Yeah.
Well, I tore up right there. I forgot who was driving.
Yeah.
Jeff, do we want to torture? Well, I know we will, but we don't torture our listeners. Well,
the thing is, I think this is. I want people to see it because this is what PBS is peddling.
Well, it's just not true.
I've said this before, about the Democrat Party, especially during the Biden-Trump election. You had clear choices of morality that played into that election, and I said, you can't reconcile your faith and your commitment to Jesus Christ with a vote in the Democrat Party. I still stand to that. Now I'm going to say this. You cannot reconcile your faith with Jesus Christ and be a supporter of PBS either.
There's no way.
You cannot do it.
Well, let me say this, Jeff. He's talking about NAR, and Peter Wagner is the one that started that order.
Right.
And I knew Peter personally.
Right.
Knew him personally.
Exactly.
Up till he died. There's nothing that he is saying about the NAR is true. Not only that, the NAR was an idea of Peter Wagner of trying to bring together churches. There's a lot of churches out there that are not part of a denomination. There are a lot of independent churches. And they were trying to bring some instructional and unity to all of these little independent churches, trying to bring them together. And so they called it, you had apostles and prophets, and they actually were creating another little denomination. Is what it is, what the NAR is, if you still know.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it is. And so, and it popped up there for about 5, 6, 7 years. And I mean, I've even been to an NAR convention.
Well, and they did do great teaching on spiritual warfare.
Done great things.
I mean, yes, they did.
But when Peter, and I forget the guy's name, he's still alive. The other guy, his name escapes me, but he's still out there a little bit. But he just goes from church to church as like a preacher in a revival or something. And it flared up there, and it was a little something for a little while. I don't even know if their organization's even still got a webpage or not, Jeff. So here's my point in saying this. This guy's creating a straw dummy.
Well,
the NAR, I mean,
that's my point. Okay.
He's just totally fabricating.
Okay, so
something.
off of the back of that, He's talking about the Apostolic Reform movement.
Yeah,
Then off of the back of that, the news anchor shows a graph, okay, that 64% of white evangelicals are Christian nationalists. Now, that's on PBS. Now, that's exactly what she just said on here and showed a little graph. 64% of white evangelicals are Christian nationalists. Now, there's no truth to that. It's an absolute positive lie. It's a lie. And it's a war against Christianity.
That's what it
I'm
is.
saying is,
It's a war. He preparing for war is correct.
He's exactly,
he's
and
part
he's on the dark side.
And well, he's already confessed that he got out of the church in 2005, didn't he?
Right?
Quit preaching. So.
Yeah, and went into this whatever.
Yeah, he's got smarter than everybody at church now.
That's right.
That's right.
He graduated.
He's now the smart one in the room.
He's the smart one in the room.
That's right.
My point again is those that have trusted Christ, that is committed to the Word of God, you cannot reconcile that with PBS News. I'm sorry, you just can't. It's
just my hat's off to him. Good try, but I mean,
yeah.
My problem is I know NAR.
Yeah. Well, wait till you hear the rest
I
of
know
it. He's
NAR.
fixing to get into some other stuff.
I think NAR would be glad to know that they're doing that good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
When Peter died, it was, and there again, you got to understand, Peter, he was a college professor. He was experimenting with stuff. You know, he was trying. He was saying all these churches out there where they're not even a member. They're not associated.
He was trying to bring some structure to some Protestant churches,
Protestant charismatic.
Yes, exactly.
Fellowships is
That's
what
right.
he's trying to do. And okay.
For example, a group of New Apostolic Reformation leaders, apostles and prophets and others were present at the White House a week before January 6th. Speaker Mike Johnson has direct ties to the New Apostolic Reformation. Speaker Mike Johnson is somebody who's sought the...
I don't know. Listen, I knew Peter Wagner. That doesn't... Okay, I've got ties with the NAR. I mean, come on, man. I'm also have ties with my local hardware store.
That's exactly right. Me too.
And one means about as much as the other.
counsel and the friendship of Timothy Carcaden, who is a New Apostolic Reformation pastor from his home district in Shreveport, Louisiana. Timothy Carcaden is a close associate with Dutch Sheets. Dutch Sheets is perhaps the most ardent Trump supporter in the New Apostolic Reformation. He's the one who may have done the most of any Christian leader in the United States to mobilize folks to try to overturn the 2020 election and to make sure to attend.
Jeff, you go out here and ask 100 people, well, what do you think about Dutch Sheets? They're going to say, who is Dutch Sheets?
Who's Dutch?
They don't nobody know who Dutch Sheets is. I mean, I know who Dutch Sheets is. You know,
I do too.
He's a great guy
that
leads people in prayer.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't nobody know who Dutch Sheets is.
No. And
And-
furthermore, he has no authority that I'm aware of. At the church that I attend, he don't have no
He
authority.
just prays. He teach people how to pray. And I can't help it. This fella here, he's picking people he knows nobody knows, but I know them.
And that's one reason that when I read
Yeah, thank you very much. You
Six.
just didn't
One
want
of the
me to
most
sleep
frightening
tonight.
things I think about Mike Johnson is the flag he hangs outside of his office, an Appeal to Heaven flag. The Appeal to Heaven flag goes back to the Revolutionary War, George Washington. It was inspired by John Locke.
I guess the NAR needs to get that flag or something.
Yeah, well, that's why.
But
I
over
think
the
it
last
leads
10
me.
years, the Appeal to Heaven flag has been popularized by Dutch Sheets. Dutch Sheets sees the Appeal to Heaven flag as a symbol of Christian
Come on,
revolution.
man. We're not this stupid. That flag was popularized in the beginning. Just because everybody's forgot about it doesn't mean it's.
But now wait a
My
minute. This
land.
guy is on PBS. He's got to know what he's talking about. This is PBS. They're well balanced.
PBS, pumpkin butt snodgrass. That's the only thing I can think of. Right?
My thing is, we know of people
If I didn't
that
know
are highly intelligent that falls for this stuff simply because they're on PBS.
Well, listen, he's jacking Dutch Sheets way up, and Peter,
Oh, he's not doing that.
he's making, in my book, they're great guys.
Yeah.
But they don't know that they were ever as great as he's
No,
making them
no,
up to be
no.
here.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry.
If you look closely at January 6th, you will see dozens of Appeal to Heaven flags. It may have a long history, but in the contemporary context, It has a very specific meaning.
There's
so the
the
fact
difference.
that Mike Johnson
I
has
mean, and what?
There's
okay,
the difference.
What book did you read that?
And
out of?
see, that's my point. Right
He's
there, he
bringing he's
just
making a
said what they do.
definition.
Exactly.
He's rewriting the definition.
The appeal to heaven flag was present during the Revolutionary War. Okay. But now, in the contemporary context, he says, it means something different. Why? Because he says it does.
Well,
And that's my point. The left will take something, they're going to ascribe a new definition to it and say, and sell it to the public. Say, this is what this means. And so-called intelligent people grab a hold of that. They've done the same thing with Christian nationalism.
Well,
this is a political move to squash the spiritual revival.
Why can't you just read the flag?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Same thing as just reading the Bible.
Appeal to heaven.
Yeah.
So okay, just read the flag. Appeal to heaven. Now, what he doesn't like is it's appealing to a
heaven.
place called heaven.
Yeah. That's higher than this government.
Yeah, and so
That's
he's
higher
trying.
than
He's
him.
trying to redefine it.
That's right. That's right.
I'm glad he got out of the ministry.
Yeah,
All I can do.
Yeah, boy.
I'm glad he's not on our side.
Being outside of his office, to me, signifies how he understands his role as Speaker of the House in terms of being a Christian and being an American.
In a statement to the NewsHour, a spokesperson for Johnson's office said, quote, "The Speaker has long appreciated the rich history of the flag. Any implication that the Speaker's use of the flag is connected to the events of January 6th is wildly inaccurate."
Wow, I don't know how in the world. How with a clear conscience should you make that statement?
I'm telling you, Alan, this
Is to make that flag.
yeah.
The flag's demonized because somebody. I hope nobody was wearing Fruit of the Loom on January the 6th.
Can I tell you something? But that's one reason why you got churches now out there that during a hot political environment are unwilling to take a stand. This is why, right here. It's because, no, we can't do that, or we're going to be guilty of being a Christian nationalist, or we're going to be guilty of being a racist, or we're going to be guilty of being bigots, or we're always going to be guilty of being something. So
But Onishi says the concern
to not be guilty of anything, that means you can't do anything. So you take this very passive approach to Christianity, and that's not in keeping with the way Jesus called us to be, nor is it in keeping with the way Jesus lived out his life here on the earth. He was not passive. He challenged
neither
the
was
government.
Charlie Kirk.
No.
But the only thing I can tell you is, around the globe, Charlie Kirk was this is called the age of the influencers because of the internet. No human was a greater influence than Charlie Kirk.
Right.
You've got kings, you got you got President Trump. Everybody knows him, but Charlie Kirk influenced more of the earth.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that, Jeff. Just
without any doubt.
With all of the visuals and just everything that went in that week, basically, of his memorial. All right, let's go.
Warning links go beyond the conservative politicians themselves. Last month, Lance Wallnau, a key New Apostolic Reformation.
Jeff, if
look
you
at the pictures there.
Go to Walmart and say, now, what do you think about Lance Wallnau? They're going to look and say, who? They don't
But
know
look at that slogan there. Christian nationalists team up on the illicit push to get churches to campaign for Trump. Charlie Kirk and Lance Wallnau.
Well, what's wrong with that?
That's my point. My
Christian
point is,
nationalists team up on those push.
but see what
okay, I'm like, well, I wish if that happened, I'd be proud of it.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is,
We can't get churches to do that.
That's my point.
That's
my point. You got churches that are afraid to do anything because of this.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people sitting in pews of churches listens more to this garbage on PBS
than they do the
preacher on Sunday. Exactly. And so you end up.
Jeff, you did this on purpose because you knew it'd fire my rocket. You did it on purpose.
I told you we didn't have to.
That sounds like something
I think I offered.
Somebody at the far right would do.
The only thing I can tell you is coffee sponsored this show.
Okay. Far right Apostle Lance Wallnau. And Turning Point USA are partnering on a campaign, Turn Swing State Churches into Trump treatment. Listen, Lance Wallnau would be so proud to have his picture on the same page as Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
He would just,
absolutely.
He would be so proud
Tickle
of
him
that.
to death.
It'd tickle him.
Figure announced he was partnering with Charlie Kirk, the influential right-wing activist who leads Turning Point USA.
They're going to be visiting and focusing on swing states, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania. They claim they've already signed up 2,500 churches, and they want to mobilize those churches directly for political involvement and specifically to get Trump reelected. The two of them together signifies a crossover. It signifies a joining in a way that promises, I think, to be quite potent.
Meanwhile, some have mobilized around what GOP leaders have labeled an invasion at the southern border. I asked Onishi about a protest convoy calling itself God's Army, currently making its way to Texas.
I think the end goal for the convoy is to kind of play a part or play a role in what they take to be the story that is unfolding in the United States. Christian nationalists understand themselves to be playing a character. They are drawn into a narrative that says, you are at the last battle. You have a chance to do something that is much bigger than you. Will you answer that call?
Okay, he's making fun of that. You know, you're being brainwashed to you're in this battle. And he wrote a book
called
Preparing for War.
Yeah. Preparing for what?
War.
Preparing for war.
Yeah.
But yet they are surprised and deny the fact that they're influencing anybody to violence.
Will you come to D.C. on January 6th? Will you ride with us to the southern border?
See, preparing
because
for war.
These are the moments. These are the battles that will shape our country. This is the cosmic.
Now, I'm sure it is a pure accident that somebody set two books up on the end of that bookcase for this podcast. No,
absolutely.
Let's give him a benefit of the doubt.
He did not realize that was even.
If he had, he would turn them around.
Yeah, this poor guy did
and he
not
wouldn't
know. He didn't.
War between good and evil. Are you really going to sit on the sidelines? Some of us can laugh that off. We can think that that's a fringe ideal, but January 6th was not something to laugh off. And some of the events we've seen since then, the swatting of judges' houses, the evacuations of capitals due to bomb threats, so many more examples, little fires everywhere, are not things we can laugh off. And
nobody is laughing them off.
But here's my point. Why are they not talking about the Tesla dealerships that was set on fire? Mm-hmm. Why are they not talking about the threat to Brett Kavanaugh's life? Mm-hmm. Why are they not talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Mm-hmm. Why don't we talk about all of these things? Why don't we talk about how Steve Scalise got shot and can barely walk now?
That's right.
3 other congressmen get shot. Why don't we talk about the left-leaning Congress people that say, hey, if you see a conservative out in public, get in their face? Why don't we talk about that? My point, again, being is that you cannot reconcile your faith in Jesus Christ to this kind of garbage. You can't. He's trying to, and you can't do it.
Let me say this. My hat's off to him that he's living in a country that he can do that.
Yeah, I will fight for his right to do that.
I'll fight for his right to do that. But at the same time, I'll fight for my right to be able to bring a rebuttal.
And to say, this guy is a stupid idiot.
Yeah.
He's a complete lame-brain idiot.
He is.
And you cannot call it nothing else.
No.
And I would also say, this is my opinion,
right.
and I have a right to my opinion.
You do.
Okay? So I will just say this. Anyone who supports this lame brain is just as idiotic as he is.
Well, why don't you just say how you really feel?
Yeah, that's how I really feel.
Okay.
I think the trucker convoy has cosmic goals
Uh-oh.
as it plays a part in a very earthly standoff between Governor Abbott and the Biden administration.
Brad Onishi, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, Alan, I just look at it.
In a very earthly standoff between Governor Abbott and the Biden administration. And so I think the trucker convoy has cosmic goals as it plays a part in a very earthly standoff between Governor Abbott and the Biden administration.
Cosmic goals. The trucker convoy in Texas, he was talking about, has cosmic goals. Please explain to me what that is.
I have no idea what it means.
I drive a truck. I've never been to Cosmic in my life. There is no such place as Cosmic America.
If that was a place in Texas or something?
No. I checked. Texas has no town named Cosmic. So what does he mean by cosmic
Well,
gold?
there again, he's trying to put up a straw dummy out here.
That's
In the same way he did with Lance. And,
exactly. And Dutch sheets.
Dutch sheets. And they don't nobody.
Peter
A few
Wagner.
people might know Lance a little more, but they don't nobody know Lance.
No.
And nobody knows
nobody
NAR.
knows.
NAR.
No,
they think
don't.
that's some type of thing that
But
women get hair off in that hair to get the hair off her legs or something. He don't nobody know what that is.
But these are the people that PBS looks to as their experts, and they bring them on, and they develop a narrative. Their narrative now is white Christian nationalism is destroying the fabric of our freedom. It is a threat to our democracy.
I'd just like to know. Listen,
We are considered unintelligent if we don't adhere to this.
Take the bad definition of Christian nationalist. I would to God we could just get that crowd
I would
up.
too. I would too.
We can't even get.
I would too. You couldn't mobilize them.
You can't mobilize
If you
them.
called a meeting for them, only 3 people would show up, and they would all be handicapped.
Listen, I was in a meeting here the other day. A friend of mine was in a meeting here the other day, and there's 10 churches there, and they was coming together in unity for the city. So they was going to take communion together.
Mm-hmm.
And
out of 10 churches, how many people showed up?
oh, they was all there.
Was they?
Yeah, but there wouldn't none of them take communion together because
They didn't believe in the right way of
no,
doing
one
it.
of them said it's got to be grape juice, can't be wine. The other one said you can't take communion in them bought cups. It can't be bought cups. It's got to be real grape juice. You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't.
Now listen,
I
do you know why
understand.
they got together? They're praying for a revival.
That's exactly
Okay.
right, buddy.
They can't even take communion. And you think that you were trying to tell me you can get a group together and call them the Christian Nationalists? And I can't even get them together to take communion.
But again,
I mean,
the political side is trying to destroy Christianity with this kind of rhetoric. And they are inciting the violence that's erupting everywhere.
mm-hmm.
I'm saying unless there is a turn, then this violence is going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get worse. It's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. Our only hope is that the fuel of Charlie Kirk's assassination, how tragic as it was, the fuel of that flaming up in pockets of revival all over the nation is the only hope we have.
Well, I agree.
It's the only hope we have.
I'd like to say this too, Jeff. It's not necessarily just Gen X, but it is Gen X and the millennial. If you look at all these shootings that's happening now, it's coming out of those. It's come out of the video game generation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd say.
And so they're not. So they're being minds already warped. Then you can take them. They're mentally. They got all of them's got a disorder of some type.
Yeah.
They're mentally ill.
I agree.
And
Totally
but that
agree.
doesn't make it right.
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying don't make it
Yeah.
right, and I'm not still saying you're not responsible for it. It's just like a man gets drunk and drive. Well, you're drunk,
Yeah,
but you're still responsible.
that's right.
But what I am saying is the generation of all these computer-generated games that are so graphic, you're shooting and killing everybody, I think has been the pre-programming.
Yeah.
And now listen to me just a second. Well, I know we got to go. But when we watch these screens, it's called, we growing up, it's called television.
Mm-hmm.
Well, television.
Yeah, right.
Television.
Yeah.
Okay, now just think about it. So you got a television, so you're going to have a vision. Somebody's vision's come across the screen, just like we watched video. That's somebody's vision's coming. Now, what are we watching? We're watching a program.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that television's going to show me and trying to indoctrinate me in a program.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
No, huh?
That's
Okay, so
exactly
I'm being
right.
programmed by the
That's right.
television.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to have it on a certain channel.
Mm-hmm. Got to tune in.
Well, what's a channel? Well, a channeler is one that goes on the dark side, which we've been told in the
Yeah.
scriptures not to do, and we're channeling the dark forces.
Exactly.
So I'm proposing to you, Jeff, that what's happening is you got television, whether it's a laptop, computer, you got a television, we got programming us, and I'm saying we're being channeled by the dark side for most of it.
Totally agree.
And I want to tell you this, they're being controlled by a remote.
Yes, I totally agree.
And so you drop the right propaganda in there to the right people at the right time, they'll go shoot at Charlie
I
Kirk.
totally agree. I completely
Now
agree.
that's just I just told you
completely agree.
the spiritual truth.
That's right. And so the big battle there'll be physical manifestations of. It has spiritual roots.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's going on in the spirit realm is so significantly important. The physical manifestations are going to get worse and worse.
They are.
Until there's a tipping point somewhere. So,
So there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy's name is, Jeff.
I don't care. Don't really want to
Well,
know.
he's selling a book, Preparing for War.
Yeah, but he's and the subtitle of it is The White Straight American Jesus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the subtitle of that book.
Well, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll be hearing more from this gentleman. Okay.
I hope not.
Okay, Mr. Roland, I think we've covered this topic for today, which we're going to actually pick up on some articles tomorrow.
Yeah, we are.
On this Christian and then nationalism, because we want to make it straight. We can be Christians, we can be nationalists, and both of them are good.
Yes, absolutely.
In Jesus' name, amen. Say
amen.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you for joining today's Smith and Roland Show. You can check out our website at kingdompropheticsociety.org and our daily Unplugged podcast at smithandrolandshow.podbean.com. You can also join us on Amazon, Apple, or Spotify.